Hey guys, Dow Phoenix here. I just wanted to do a quick little video to talk about my thoughts on Sea of Thieves for the Xbox One and PC. Because I got it off of Game Pass, which, by the way, if you weren't aware, you can sign up for Game Pass on Xbox One. And, of course, get a free trial. It's like a 2-week free trial. Hell, you can even do it on PC because the game is Xbox Play Anywhere compatible. So you can sign up for the Game Pass for Xbox One, I guess, using a PC account, and then you can play the game that way. So you can take it with a grain of salt what I say if you like, because, it's pretty easy to try the game out for yourself. You can buy it for $60 too if you really want to do that, of course. But anyways, I've been streaming on Mixer, mixer.com/DownPhoenix, in case you guys didn't know. So definitely check that out and subscribe to it, because that's where I usually stream any Xbox related games, is through Mixer. I could do it through actual YouTube, but it's just a pain in the butt to set all that stuff up, honestly. It's a lot easier just to use the built-in Mixer thing, even though I'm not a big fan of Mixer, but it works fine. So anyways, Sea of Thieves is a game that a lot of people are complaining about right now for a number of reasons, of course. One, of course, is which there's not enough content, which is a complaint that I can understand to some degree, because the content is all procedurally generated as far as the actual missions that you do. You go to Outpost, and it will have random different quests that you can do for some of the different factions in the game. And basically you go to an island, you look for some kind of treasure, you fight an enemy or something like that, and then you go back to the Outpost to claim your reward. And that's pretty much how that works as far as that. The reason why it's been kind of a problem is just because I guess there wasn't enough variety of quests, which I don't know, how much time some of these people are making these complaints have put in the game, because the game literally has only been out for 2 days. Maybe there's people that only played a couple of hours and they're seeing some quests are pretty similar to each other, which, I would imagine so. But, if you only played for a couple hours, your rank in the factions can't be very high at all. You might have a couple of levels. I doubt you're going to see different quests. They're probably going to be all the same pretty much initially. And some of the different quests you probably won't see until you actually level up in the factions, which, those quests are probably a little more complex. They want you to get used to the mechanics, because the game doesn't tell you, it doesn't force feed you what to do. You have to figure out things for yourself. But, at the same time, they're not going to force you into multi-tier objectives when you barely know how to play the game. They're going to stick you with things that are pretty simple, oh, grab this treasure chest and bring it back, or, just simple little things like that. So that's one thing to keep in mind with the content. A lot of people complain about the lack of content, probably don't actually have enough knowledge to make that assessment. There might be people that have played the game for 50 hours already somehow, and if they're still making that complaint, then yeah, it might be something to take seriously. But most people have not played that much. I personally have about maybe 5.5 hours in the game, and I really haven't seen everything at all, not even remotely close. Now, I don't know, maybe a lot of stuff might be kind of repetitive. I guess that's always an issue, but I guess we'll wait and see how that is. This is a first impression after all. One thing that I did have an issue with is the lack of actual enemies to fight, because you have skeletons and snakes, and that's pretty much it for the regular enemies, unfortunately. Now, it is an MMO type game. The content, I'm sure, will evolve. Maybe we'll see better stuff going forward in the future. That's a possibility, but as of right now, it is fairly lacking on that front. Most of the interesting encounters that you will have will be with other players. Other players that you happen to see out in the ocean and whatnot, maybe trying to shoot your ship down. Apparently that's a thing, is every time you see another player's ship, just immediately shoot at it, which is kind of silly, but had some really fun encounters. I'm actually going to take a couple of video clips I had from Mixer, maybe kind of upload them and splice them together to a really fun little thing. I played with Kamikaze Sounds. We had a blast playing it. That's another thing to keep in mind. This game, you can play it solo if you want, but it's not that great as a solo game. It's not really intended to play as a solo game, Plus, it would be really challenging to play it that way. Trying to manage all of the ship's operations by yourself would be very cumbersome and difficult, which would make sense. I would imagine it probably would have been very much the case back in the 1600s as well, trying to actually manage a ship by yourself. These ships had crews of like dozens of people in some cases, so it only makes sense, that it'd be really hard to manage a ship by yourself. So anybody that's trying to play the game solo are probably going to have a bad time with it. But I think that's the idea. They want you to play with other people, with friends, with randoms, and so on. So that's kind of the idea of the game. That's the type of game it is. And it is also an MMO type game. It's a game that is going to evolve in terms of content. Some of the content that we're going to see is probably timing based. They probably have things already planned we're not going to see until later on. So it's not really fair to judge a game like this within a couple of days of launch and be like, oh, there's nothing to do, or anything like that, which, that was another complaint that some of their games like No Man's Sky had, which like, oh, there's nothing to do, you just explore different planets over and over, which, yeah, that's a thing as well. But, I mean, at least with this game, they didn't make any false assumptions or claims on what you were going to do in the game. They were very forward and upfront about what this game was going to be about. And if people weren't paying attention, well, that's their fault. That's their fault that they weren't paying attention. Because you should have been able to see, based on the gameplay that's been revealed so far and the interviews and all the info about it, on whether this is a game for you or not. If you're not into co-op multiplayer games, then it's probably not a game for you. That's pretty simple as that. If you're the type of gamer that prefers something like, say, Elder Scrolls Skyrim versus World of Warcraft, then this game's probably not for you. Because this is a game that is very much focused on social interaction. And that's just something to keep in mind, of course. That doesn't make it a bad game just because it doesn't have 50 billion quests, or something like that. It's fine, It's all about the social interaction and the experience. And in terms of that part of the game, it's excellent. I've had such a fun time playing this game, even with randoms. Well, most of the time. Some randoms kind of sucked, but it is what it is, right? So, yeah, definitely check it out on Mixer. I'm probably going to continue streaming this game for the next few days or so and just kind of see how it progresses. I hope to see you guys there, of course. Like I said, if you don't want to trust my opinion at all on it, just, check it out for yourself on Game Pass. But anyways, with that, guys, Down Phoenix out.